Good morning from the beautiful Gold Coast once again. Today I want to talk about a subject called worry that I know we are all familiar with. We worry about money. We worry about work. We worry about relationships. We worry about falling in love. We worry about falling out of love. We worry about being abandoned. We worry about worry. We worry about what other people think of us. We worry about if we are good enough or not good enough. We worry, we worry, we worry. And through my experience, a lot of my worries have not come true, but that still doesn't take away the fact that we worry. Children, you name it, whatever you want to associate worry with, you can relate. That it's at times crippling, immobilizing, and some people worry about things that they think others will judge them on and maybe laugh at them or question why they worry about things so insignificant to them. But to the worrier, it is so real. So real. It's a terrible place to live, in constant worry about something in life. When I think about worry, I go back to the first identification I can pinpoint where I started to worry. And it was as an 8-year-old child. I used to walk to school each day. And when I was walking to school, a voice come from somewhere, and it told me to look in the parked cars, and if a particular parked car had a radio in it, my mother would love me. But if another car next to it didn't have a radio in it, then my mother doesn't love me. And I would do this all the way down the street, car after car. Some cars, they had radios in it back in the early 70s. It wasn't uncommon with no radios in the car. Other cars did. And the worry that I would have to not see a car with a radio in it was really punishing to me. That my mother maybe didn't love me and I measure that against another analogy of Rod the girl with the pedal. He loves me, yes, he loves me not, he loves me, yes, he loves me not. And I used to do this every day going to school. It was like I was gambling on love, and that brought worry to me. I couldn't really articulate it then, but the person that I ultimately had unconditional love for, something come into my soul, some voice started making me question that. So this questioning and this worry of not being loved from an early age, that's where I pinpoint where my worry started. I was worried not to be loved. Worried something in me, I wasn't good enough. Why would my mother potentially not love me? What was I doing wrong? And there is something in that about how I was punished. And then I'd worry about being punished. Then I'd worry about Dad attacking me with a belt. Then I'd worry about upsetting my parents. I was always in worry as a child and doubt. And as a child, I couldn't articulate this thing called worry. The only thing that I knew about worry, and in the context that I'm talking about as a child, was not to be loved, and disappointing and not pleasing the people I was loved by. Because I used to think possibly it was because my behaviour or what I was doing. I couldn't articulate it, as I said, and today I'm only assuming. Again, it's just what I've been through. That's where my worry started. And as I started continuing through life, I started worrying about other things, about my appearance and what I look like, and it was hell to be in that worry about if I looked good enough. Am I attractive enough? Do I fit in good enough? Am I liked? Do others accept who I am? And I would worry about that. And then I would worry about what people were thinking of me more. Even in if I was having a conversation with somebody, I'd start worrying that they're thinking that I was ugly. I was worrying that they're thinking something about me, where in reality, I found out as time went on, a lot of it was unfounded. But I couldn't escape it. I had no way out of it. And the more I worried and doubted what others thought of me, the more I struggled. And the more I try to impress people, and the more I try to do to get attention. And it all stemmed from worrying. Everything come from that. And I'm sure people can relate to worry about what people think of you, and worry about if you're good enough, worry about if you fit in, worry about being liked, worried about being accepted. It's easy to look at worry from my point of view now, because I've dealt with it, and look back on it and go, oh, that was crazy, man. That was crazy. But that worry led me to looking for so much reassurance. And I can remember I used to look in mirrors all the time and look at my reflection constantly. I could never measure up to it. Never. And then when people would give me compliments, say, oh, you're looking well, or you're attractive, I didn't believe it. I doubted everything through worry. Everything was a doubt in my life. And then I worried about being doubtful. Then I worried about not having confidence because I was doubtful. And it was worry after worry after worry. And it was like I was just chasing my tail with this worry. And even I missed that point. Even when I was doing that with the cars, questioning and then worrying that car might have a radio and that car mightn't have a radio. I used to do it on the footpath also. If I stand on a certain line on the cement, in my strut how I was walking, my mother loves me. If I miss that line in the next step, she doesn't love me. Yeah, so I know I diverted there, but it was hell, and it was that bad. There was times where I just couldn't be in the presence of other people. I used to get I used to worry so much about what people thought of me. I had to run away. It really, socially, it absolutely crippled me, socially. Absolutely crippled me. So, worrying about things in your life, through my experience, it came back to, well, as I said, my environment, the way I was parented. Because something tells me, if I had what I needed as a child, and hey, this is no blame on my parents. They too had their parents. If I had, more attention, if I had more discipline, if I was cared for more in the way to develop me and help me. Instead of my parents drinking all the time and not having enough time for me. I could be wrong, but I don't think I would have started questioning if my mum loved me or if my mum didn't love me. I could be completely wrong on it, but through my experience being a parent myself now, the children need me to be present fully as a father, and their mother is also. And I'm not saying my children that they haven't got worries, or they have. We've all got worries, but some people worry about things more than others. Mine was an extreme case, I think. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe people will relate to this and go, yeah, well, I too worried about what I looked like, and I too worried about fitting in, and I too worried about being accepted, and I too questioned if I was loved by my parents. The way I dealt with it, I had these grave fears to talk about, worrying about what people thought of me and worrying about me thinking I was ugly, and people was thinking that all the time, and worrying about where I'm going in life and what I'm doing, and worrying about all the stuff that I have expressed. I started talking about that worry, and it frightened me to open up. I was absolutely petrified to just thinking of open up to people about me hating myself, me not liking myself. It took a lot of courage to do it. It took a hell of a lot of courage to open up about all that worry. But when I started opening up and talking about that to everybody who would listen to me, I started getting support with it, and I started getting help with all my worries. And I realised everything that I worried about, it needed to be expressed so I could ultimately get free of worries. Instead of being this tough guy who didn't talk about things, or wanted to put on an ego, wanted to be the man. I got to the core and I started saying that I'm thinking people think I'm ugly, and I don't feel worthy of love, and I'm scared, and I get embarrassed in front of other people, and I find it hard to talk to people, and I'm really struggling in social situations, and I don't feel like I fit in, and I compare myself to other people, and I don't look good enough, or my image isn't good enough. I just started talking about it. I just got really honest with it all. And the more I talked about it, and the more I made the effort to confront it, the more I got free of it. So the more I talked about worry, the less power it had in my life. And when I opened up about my worries, other people opened up to me about their worries. And I found that comforting. So, yeah, talking about it and having the courage to talk about it, and that really helped me get over a lot of my worries in life. And I highly recommend talking about all your worries as much as you can, because the more you talk about what you worry about, the more you will get over the things that you worry about. So have a good day, and well, that worked for me anyway, and take care.